Thank you all for tuning in to Jams and Joysticks. My name is Patrick Jesseman. I am the Alchemist, CEO and founder of Alkemi Labs. We have cool stuff for indie games, indie gamers, events, and all that. Check it out. It's ALKEMI LABZ.
Cool. Let's trip back down memory lane. How did you get started before you became the Alchemist? How did you get your start before gaming, your environment before then, lead into that?
I'll be transparent. I have 3 albums. I used to rap and I traveled around and in Chicago area with the crew, and we were on VEC and Comic View. I stopped because I've been married for 25 years. But you do the math, it was right around that time. It's not conducive to a healthy lifestyle, period, if you're involved with the knuckleheads I was involved with. It was still very underground. It somewhat paid the bills, and we had a little following. But I was like, I got to stop doing that. So one of my guys, misdemeanor, he was like, film one of my videos for me. I was like, I'll do it, but I don't got a camera. He's like, I'll buy the camera. So I ended up with a camera, and I downloaded After Effects. Well, I bootlegged After Effects. I'm not gonna lie. And I watched this guy named Andrew Kramer from Video Copilot. I watched this cat every day and learned how to do stuff. In Misdemeanor's video, it was a throwback to Full House.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, in the red car. Well, he's in the car rapping as it's driving over the bridge, because we were just getting into visual effects and learning how to track and do all this kind of stuff. We made 3 videos for him. He ended up slowing down. There's a guy in Florida called Triple J. I don't know if you ever heard of him. Mr. and Trip were real good friends. They started chilling out. They got older, looking at best to do whatever. So I was like, I want to film a movie, and I need you to be the bad guy. He's like, all right. That was 20 years ago. We don't have one of the posters up here. It's back behind me. But in 217, it's 2 older white guys. Originally, it was a younger black dude. He was the only one that would show up. So I'm like, all right, man, I appreciate you. The funny thing was, Trevon is his real name. Mr. B, that's his real name. He would show up. We had a plan, and he would show up. I'll show you the trailer. You'll see him. He rolls over like a nylon mask. You can barely see him. He's in the dark. I like playing with dark and stuff. And the girl is actually my wife. She had to show up. Between the both of them, praise God for both of them, they entertained my plan on making a movie and doing all this stuff. Flash forward 20 years. I looked at my sons, and I'm seeing they're the right age. And I tried teaching them motion graphics and stuff, and they're like, yeah, they're into it, but not really. I said, you guys want to learn video games, make our own games? So I started teaching them Unreal, because I would use Unreal for the motion graphics stuff that I showed you before.
Right. I
would use, After Effects, C4D, all that stuff, but I used Unreal a lot. Matter of fact, you can see it even on the marquees. I said, let's work on a game. We had this game called The Under Effect. It starts in an 11-story building. You're on the 7th floor. The police and all these people come surrounding the bottom, and there's a helicopter. You can't get out. They block the building because you have information that you're not supposed to have, and you don't even know you have it. It makes a really interesting story among storyteller filmmaker. We decided to make the fire escapes, like from 90s, New York. Fire escapes is how you move around on the building. Okay. Yep. So you'll go out your window, go down the fire escape, or another window, cut through the house, go through another door, and make your way around. So inevitably you got to make like this bomb, you drop it down and blows up the whole police. And from that point, you go underground like Demolition Man. The whole game is underground, and you have to go like in the sewers and stuff. There's like a whole city and stuff down there, and they got to go above ground to do missions, get medicine, and come back. Of course, there's battles. As soon as you pop your head up, they're trying to whack-a-mole you. Gotcha. It was pretty ambitious. And I started to think, well, 217, one of the things that made it so cool was there was only 2 people. It's not a whole movie. I mean, it's a whole movie, but it's this intimate kidnapping scene with these 2 people. It made it easy to film, so nobody would show up. I had one bad guy, and I knew I could count on my wife, so I got one good girl. so that's about it. How many locations do we need? Let's keep it simple. He kidnaps her from the house, brings her into the car, and for 30 minutes in the car, the movie goes on, just in the backseat. A lot of people were like, yeah, I don't know about that. To which I say, have you ever seen the movie Phone Booth?
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I've heard of a movie like this.
This was strictly by limitations. The limits holding us up work within the limitations. That exact reason why we were able to make the movie made the game attainable. I can control metahumans. I can control my actors.
Right.
I don't have to provide pizza or anything. I can't pay anybody, so sorry, y'all gotta work for free.
Right.
Metahumans don't complain. They just work. This is good. Instead of one bad guy, let's make it two. That would make it a little crazier, a little more difficult. We didn't want to have a horde of zombies, so we got just, I'm not drinking. It's just water.
You drink whatever you want in your spot.
Some people think it's something blue.
It's
not that. So it kept it very manageable. Assets weren't that big. What's terrifying is the situation. The two bad guys are scary. One's 6'7", 400 pounds. I mean, dude could just manhandle us around. And that's why, I'm not scared of zombies and ghosts. But this 400-pound, 6'7" dude, I don't like that. And this is how he makes his living. We developed the characters a little bit, but made the actual place terrifying. So instead of making you force you into the car, although that is in the game, and you will see where that's recycled into the game. But instead of making the car the scary part or the guys the scary part, we made the forest and location the scary part, what they do. Because we don't even know if there's more of them. We know there's two of them. We see two of them, but we don't know if there's more of them. And it's like, they got a cult thing out here. Like, what do they do? So now you're scared of the woods. You're scared of, every damn thing is scary. Every sound is creepy. Speaking of sound, I got our chief audio engineer in Taiwan. He brought with this company, Atmoki. And Atmoki does spatialization, binaural spatialization. It's different than surround sound. Binaural means left and right. Surround sound 5.1 is 2 in the front, 2 in the back, a bar in the center, and a subwoofer. 7.1 will have the 2 satellites here. Spatialization means if you close your eyes in the woods, you can hear the rain hitting the top of the trees. You can hear it splashing against the ground. It's really wild.
So dynamic.
New technology. Not a lot of games are using it. We wanted to push the limits. I'm a big limit pusher. Limits make me laugh. So we got with this company Dash. We'll do another episode behind the scenes making the game. I'll show you how we made the game. Dash allows us to take high poly cinematic trees. We take all 7 of those, stick them below the map, and tell Dash to scatter these things all over the map. And just like that, it goes and populates trees all over the map. Different sizes, different thicknesses, different all over the map. You can make them super dense, you can make them not so dense. But the cool thing is the computer only draws on the 7 under the map, not the whole forest. So it enables you to move around fast. And that's the stuff we're pushing the limits for on this specific game. But we have a lot of other tricks up the sleeve.
You went from shooting videos, movies, to transitioning into games. How was that transition? I'm guessing nowadays some people think gaming is the next lexicon if you've already dove into film, music, or whatever the case may be. But I'm assuming 20 years ago, that wasn't really just a jump to make. So what was that change like, or was trying to adapt? Was it the same since a lot of the mediums mesh, or was it more difficult since it is a different medium, even if a lot of them do share similarities?
Well, the transition only happened 2 years ago. 20 years ago, when I was making the film, I really wanted to be in the industry and studied lighting under cinematographer Shane Hurl, amazing guy. That's where I learned lighting and cinematic stuff. I worked for several companies doing motion graphics and filming. A company in Wisconsin called Royal Prestige. I was their chief video guy for a while. I used to be a chef. I actually went to school for being a chef. And one Christmas, I was at PGA National, like the Professional Golf Association, where Tiger Woods. And we have 2 restaurants. There's a big kitchen in the middle, 2 restaurants on each side. We have this big rotisserie behind me, but it don't got meat in it. It's got gingerbread.
Okay.
Because the plan was, because it's PGA National, we're going to make a gingerbread house you can walk through. It's going to be an 8-foot tall gingerbread house. I'm cooking, and I'm in charge of desserts, and I'm making all kind of crazy desserts, including souffles. Now the souffles that they demanded we make are no joke, right? I mean, you got to be focused. The chef goes down, he goes, Jesseman, what do you think, that's your underwear burning? And I'm like, what? I look at it, and there's this cloud, and I turn around, the gingerbread went to shit. And I'm like, oh no. So I learned, if you love to do something, don't do it as a job.
Yeah.
Don't do what you love for a job. There's a big difference there. As I started to go through, that midlife, I got to figure stuff out. It just kept coming back to, I want to leave a legacy for my kids. I had a sore throat for like 2 weeks, and then I going to the hospital, and it was a yeast infection babies get. They gave me a steroid shot in my leg. I almost died the next day. My blood went up to 980, my blood sugar. I was in a coma for a week and blind for a month and a half. I came this close to dying. Come to find out, I have type 1 diabetes. I got it later in life. Got it when I was 44. That's kind of weird. 43. That's usually know when you're like 7.
You're just earlier in general.
A lot of change. And I kept thinking about my kids. I want to do something with them. I say kids, they're 18 and 20, young men. But I want to leave a legacy. Motion graphics isn't the funnest. The clients can be unreasonable. It just becomes a headache. I taught them how to make their own games. In fact, one of their first games was their version of the Backrooms, where they could go around and make this map. And it wasn't real hard, but there's like this creepy thing that's following them around. So they started getting real used to it. And then I thought, let's try to make 217 with all these tools. We got far, and then we filmed the trailer. And then I find out that there's this thing called Midwest Games. Midwest Games? What the hell is in the Midwest?
Right.
So I reach out to this cool guy named Ben Cavallo. Texted him real quick on LinkedIn, and I was like, hey, Ben, or Mr. Cavallo, or whatever. If you have a second to talk, I would love to chat. This dude hits me right back. This is not what I was expecting. He said, sure, let's set up a time to talk. Are you serious? Let me look him up real quick. Yeah, this guy's talking to me?
You look him up and you kind of have to do a double take a little
right,
bit.
All right. A week later, we get on the phone. He's amazing. His energy is just crazy. He starts going off. Did you know Call of Duty is made here in Wisconsin? I was like, no, I didn't know that. You know Apex Legends? No, I didn't know that either. Did you know that skee ball was invented here? Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm thinking, man, I love this dude. So where are you located? He's in Green Bay. That's an hour away from me. He invites me to this WGA, the Wisconsin Games Alliance social. I call him my partner, Jason, which is he's a whole other story to get into. And I said, listen, we're gonna go to this social thing, show off the game, the trailer. It's with this guy, Ben Cavallo, at Titletown Tech. This looks really cool. He's like, all right. I said, I think we should get some shirts so our team stands out. He comes back with 8 of these things. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, they're only $160. He bought 8 of them. So they gave us the wrong ones. They embroidered 4 of them. We got 2 extra ones too. So I'm like, you do what you do. Right, so we ended up giving one to Ben when we showed up. He's just something else, man. This guy is inspirational, motivational. In my opinion, he's not a by the book guy. He's constantly looking at how can we better this for the community. He's not a selfish guy at all. He brought me into Wisconsin Games Alliance. I got affiliated with a bunch of cool people. And then they say there's this thing called MDev. And he's like, you should come to the MDev thing. So I tell Jason, we got to go to MDev and we'll have everything to show. The first year we went was last year, 2024. I told him I'd love to do the graphics for you guys for free. He was like, yeah, I would like that. Put us in with the AAA studios. Last year, AAA studios were in the big room where the stage was. The stage was still there, but we were in, which was really cool for my team. I don't think Ben knew how impactful that was. My 18-year-old and 20-year-old are going, man, we're actually in with the big guys. We can do this. It opened up their mind, which was cool. Then we flash forward to this year. We're like, we're going to do something different, really push the envelope. And that's what you were part of, which I'm so grateful that you guys came.
For sure. It is sort of a humbling experience. For one, because like you said, Ben is sort of he is a power player who doesn't act like it. He is very much the guy to know and A lot of circles, when you talk to him, he seems like the regular guy you can chat with. If you have something interesting to share, he's down to help. Ben is definitely a help. Let's sort of talk about MDev a little bit. So since you have been to, multiple MDevs and things like that, what's your feeling now? The one this year just wrapped up, and that was my first one. So definitely a great experience being able to experience all that stuff. Just a conference in general, what's your feel now being there for a couple of years and experiencing all this?
From my ignorance to the whole situation and waking up almost overnight, it's still kind of amazing. I didn't know this was a thing here. To see how impactful MDev is and how it drives people from all over the country.
It was interesting to see different levels of developer skill and things like that, but then just the different level of idea and just scope of stuff. So like you have some people thinking in terms of like, how can I resurrect the Super Nintendo? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you have people that have those ideas. The guy you were talking about at MDev making the game with YouTube. Or just different ideas like that you don't even, I mean, I had never heard about that before, in my life.
Right.
It's like those ideas meshing together in the Midwest, which is very interesting. As far as 217 is concerned, what do you see moving forward now that you have a better idea of what you want to do? You have your trailer and game idea. What's the next step in the near future as you wrap up to finish the game and get it for release? What's your thoughts around the whole thing?
So I get like, when people's, it's 217, not 217. No offense. It's just the game's 217. The reason is because 187 is undercover cop. It means murder, right? The Snoop back in the day, 187 on the undercover cop. So 217 actually is the penal code, the same penal code for assault with the intention of murder. If I don't keep my mouth shut, not everybody will know that. Yeah, it's actually there's a lot to the game. To answer your question on what you saw at MDev and what you'll see next week are almost night and day. The proof of concept at MDev was to show the dynamic contrast between what the majority is doing and how we stand out. So if you remember in my speech, a lot of people took away the whole scene.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying if you make a mobile game or whatever, do what's working for you. But if you're trying to take it to the next level, like Chris Cantera with High Fructose.
Very nice game.
The animations, boy's it's sick. Every time I see him, he makes me smile. He's just a great guy. You have to take it serious. You got to get one of these stand-up things. You got to show wherever you can. There's a guy named Joshua Anthony, has a game called Dice Tower.
I played that game. One of the more memorable games I played of the whole conference.
He ain't no joke with that. Definitely a zebra. Step is to embrace your stripes. You can go one or two ways. You can be like, why am I the only one with stripes? I don't want stripes. Or I'm the only one with stripes around here. That embracing is what's going to take whatever you do to the next step. With 217, what I'm going to show you next week, you'll see how different it is. Now we're pushing the game before, which is show contrast, film, have that big booth and the after party, how we can leave an impact. It was all strategically done. So now taking all that data and metrics, we're going into the first quarter, we're on the hunt. And we're adept at using our spears. I can't mention anything. MDev turned out to be very beneficial, not just in our plan to capture footage, to recycle and reuse for all of us, but it really allowed us to get some eyes I had no intention of getting. Quick example, I had a guy come up to me and he says, "Do you know what Roku is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I know what Roku is." He says, "You ever seen that channel, Oh, the Horror or whatever?" And I'm like, "Yeah, the scary channel." He's like, "We want to put you on that." I was like, "It's a game." He's like, "Yeah, but you're making a game. It's a movie." He's trying to pitch me. And I'm like, "That's fantastic." Then I found out about a cool show called the Midwest Gaming Classic, MGC.
Okay.
It's going to be this year or 2026.
Oh, it looks way bigger.
Different type of thing.
Gaming, not how casinos look like the simulator.
Come play
big
like
screen
arcade machines and all that stuff.
Like,
so instead of it being indie dev related, it's for the love of games.
pinball machines, all
Yeah.
that.
So it looks like it's gonna be pretty crazy.
That's pretty cool. We might have to look into that because,
I didn't even know about that.
to your point,
Yeah.
MDev was beneficial for us too, just from the people we got to meet to being in the building, especially all of the games we got to see. Smaller conferences like that, you are on the ground floor of what the next games are about to be,
Right.
because ain't nobody really probably heard of most of these game developers, especially with smaller indie developers. But I mean, piggyback that on top of the big developers swapping talent and skills. Wisconsin surprised me. It's a sleeping giant as far as, I guess gaming or just tech in general. You don't really think of the Midwest as a tech hub.
When it comes to games, it's a sleeping giant. Ben Cavallo's up there holding it like Ratatouille. It's quite awesome to watch. None of us would know about it, and I wouldn't spread the gospel. His fervor was amazing. And to see him get in the trenches, too. Like, he's not making his own game, but he came from Netflix, Blizzard, 2K, and he's like, I'm going to do my own thing. He had people believe in him, and then he showed up and showed out. He's proven every time. He's a valued guy in the firm.
The energy he's put forth to it, I mean, the fruits of that labor is more game studios, more people able to live out that dream. Really isn't easy when people say, hey, I want to make games. How do you do that? Now it is steps you can take to get on the path to do that. But just saying it out loud, still, it's like, okay, how do you do that? I want to make games. Do you know Unreal? Do you know this? Do you know that? You know what I'm saying? Like all of the different things, that all the different components that it comes with it. But like you said, very interesting talent there for sure. I played that dice tower, and as soon as you got something I can play on the regular, I can stream. I said, let me know, because I'll play this game for hours. One of those addicting games, very colorful, very smooth. As far as your game, what are your thoughts, like, as you know, you obviously have this game. Do you have thoughts of any other games, or just full speed ahead onto this game? Like, how do you sort of branch those ideas? Are all of your ideas just sort of focused on this, or do you have other ideas? How do you manage your workflow?
If you caught my XR panel, I was put in a corner to mention one of our projects, Hell's Kitchen VR Feel the Heat. You can be on the red team, you can be on the blue team, all over the world, and you guys are competing to get your linguine and meet up at the same time when Ramsey comes around yelling at you and stuff. And
Hell yeah.
we were working on that before 217. We have quite a few tricks up our sleeve, including something that is going to be a game changer for indie devs. One of the things been involved with getting a 30% tax incentive for game studios in Wisconsin. Game changer. Anybody who opens a studio in Wisconsin would be eligible for a 30% tax incentive. The cost of living here is a lot cheaper than other places. People think they have to be in LA. Bringing people into the Midwest, into Wisconsin, is phenomenal. We have a plan to be impactful to indies. This is outside of the games. Alkemi Labs has its own thing, and I haven't shown you that. But yeah, with that tax incentive and with this plan, I'm hoping to pull a lot of indie studios our way. Like, for instance, Uncharted Spaces. Monday out to one. I love this guy. This is my dude. If we could get him up here so that he could continue on. There's a lot happening in 2026 that I'm super excited for. People like Ben, the Wisconsin Games Alliance, and several other people. Jennifer Jawornik has been really influential in making MDev, that beginning party thing. That was from her. Tim Gerritsen, he's an OG.
Good guy.
He's a monster. I love him. Ben Geisler, he's OG. All these guys here putting in time and effort. They help set the road for us. I don't want to be that butthead that can now ride nice on the road that you made and broke your back on. I appreciate it. You built the road for us for a reason. I plan on going as fast as I can and bringing everybody with me.
I want to ask a tech question. AI is a hot topic, taking jobs and just all over the gambit as far as AI is concerned. Obviously, you know, you in your position, you have tools at your disposal, AI this, AI that. What is your feel on AI? How do you feel about everybody else's attitude? What's your general feeling and thoughts on it?
I think AI is the greatest thing ever. I just type in some stuff. At our studio, there's no AI. We don't permit AI. In fact, the main company I work for, they won't even allow AI. I had my wife do a VO because they're doing something for the holiday. They came back to me, they're like, is that AI? I was like, no, it's my wife. They're like, okay, well, she sounds too much like AI. We got to use somebody else. If you use AI, depending on which for, be careful. It's a slippery slope. What's your cousin's phone number? You don't know. You'd have to look at his phone. Back in the day, you would know his number because you have no phone to keep. So you would remember people's phone numbers. Nowadays, nobody remembers anything because they could pick it up real quick. If you don't have to retain knowledge, you could just simply go and re-look up that knowledge again. That's not the best. AI is just taking that to the whole next step. Not only are you not worried about retaining knowledge, but you're just, I don't have to do anything. This thing will do it for me. That's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
What is AI? We have to make our bad guys have AI so they can see you, hear you, run after you. If they lose sight of you, they look around. That's AI, computer language. But it's not the AI we're talking about. We're talking about large language models and things like that. I've seen horror stories. Personally, I won't mess with AI. But if you do, and you're like, man, this thing is sick. I'm like, all right, so what do you think? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not AI guy at all.
Gotcha. To wrap up, your game, would you consider it horror?
It's considered a psychological survival thriller.
Okay, so psychological survival thrillers. Walk me through that. Not a lot of people are playing psychological horrors with the scope. You're trying to envelop a different feel all around. So sort of just kind of paint the picture a little bit for somebody who hasn't played the game, listened to the game at all. Give a rough background as far as like from more of a technical standpoint, like sort of the things that you're doing that are different from other games and the things that other people will be seeing.
Right. So first and foremost, it's a movie you play. 217 was originally a movie. I want to put you in the perspective of the girl. Things that came along in the movie that were on this linear path is now non-linear, and you can encounter these at different parts of the game. We want to take all those big Fortnite guns and throw them away. Take your extra lives and one-ups and throw all that in the garbage. Matter of fact, let's just strip you down for nothing. Like you have shorts on, you're barefoot, it's raining outside, 37 degrees. How can we make this worse? That's where we wanted to put you in almost an impossible position and then just keep giving you breadcrumbs to help you get out of it and empower you. The feeling that you get going through the game is you go from edge of your seat dread and terror to ha ha ha, y'all better run. That empowerment is really a fun story that brings you in. Of course, there is, pretty grotesque things that happen within the game and some of the backstory with the characters. They're pretty terrible people. Overall, if you don't get hung up on that stuff, it helps illustrate who they are and what they do. It's a thrill ride.
It kind of reminds me a little bit of playing the movie. It reminds me a little bit of Heavy Rain, like that vein. It was a game that released right after the Android human sort of thing, but sort of same sort of that's darker movie vibe. But when you're crafting this stuff, your ideas in general, when you're crafting like, okay, I want to make them, you have no guns, you have no source of like helping yourself or whatever. Like, how do you plan that? The player can do whatever. You want them to see different things, but you don't know what the player is going to do. So how do you craft that movie, I guess, feel experience for sort of everybody, even though everybody's experience is going to somewhat be different just because of how they play?
This two-edged sword. The first thing we did is we looked at what all games were doing and decided we're going to do the exact opposite. That was the first thing. To make a movie, I'm a cinematographer and filmmaker. The same way I would shoot in real life, I can do that in Unreal. And then we can trigger those cameras that will move around. So in real time, you're playing and a scene will change and come back. There's not cut scenes. It's really immersive. We started to play up heavily on the sound. The sound drives you through. If you close your ears, the game would be hard to play. Instead of using lights, like a green light above the doorway, that means you can go in there. If it's a red light, don't go in there.
Like a visual cue.
Yeah, but they're all audible cues. So if you're paying attention, you can tell where you're at and navigate. A lot of the time, because you don't have weapons, you do recon to find out what they're doing. You can't just run out in the woods. You don't know where you're at. We encourage you to try. What will end up happening is you'll catch hypothermia and you won't be able to make it back, and then you'll die. We studied haunted houses, Disney haunted attractions, why these principles work, how do they, because you go into a haunted house and you don't realize there's all kind of psychological principles being used against you.
Right.
If you're in a small room and you're claustrophobic, that could feel uncomfortable. Also, if you're in a big room, you could feel uncomfortable. So we use those principles a lot against you in certain parts of the game. So now we just take that haunted house and mix that with a scary movie, a haunted movie, and play with the cameras in way never done before. It's like American Horror Story. They do weird stuff with the cameras. We'll play with lenses. We'll play with effects. The thing that makes it seem like a movie and real is because it is real. You could hurt your feet on sticks. You have to find a dead body. And
yeah, I was just getting ready to say, like, it makes you think of it in a way of like, because some games, like, you don't necessarily have to think of it that deeply. You're
right.
thinking you might be barefoot, but I mean, who cares?
Right.
But like in this game, you being barefoot actually does matter. Like, you might want to find some shoes. Like,
right. Well, you're gonna need to inevitably because you just keep cutting yourself until like you can't walk.
Right. That level of detail is different. The tech is still a ways away, but thoughts of putting this in AR and putting this in some sort of virtual, I mean, because obviously, yeah, you could play this and stuff like that, but I mean, somebody actually having to step foot in the simulator would probably be pretty cool. I'm not sure that even exists right now, but the way you cooking it up, you could probably put a booth together, throw somebody in there, make it cold so they can feel the environment. You can spray some water on them.
The Midwest Gaming Classic I showed you, right? I'm talking to one of the guys. He says, we should do with your game. We should put it in its own room and project it on the entire walls so you're in the place.
Make it an escape room.
I'm game. We'll see what happens. I had the guy approach me. He wanted to get this on the horror channel on Roku beyond the game. In my speeches and when I talk with people, encourage them to push the limit. Find out where the limit is for you and push the limit. There's kind of two mindsets here. There's make a game for you and make a game for everybody else. I'm not a proponent of making a game for everybody else. I'm going to make it for me. If you don't like it, there's 8 billion people on the planet. What makes you think you're so special? You may be trying to shop your game for a year and a half and it's not working. What you may not realize, APAC may love your game. Don't give up. There's plenty of stuff. We just so happen to find a real nice formula for something very different. Mm-hmm. Our mechanics are different. Our gameplay is different. The way it looks is different. The way we approach it is different. So, I'm not a game developer who was trying to make like a movie. I'm a filmmaker who decided I'm going to make a game. And that put us in the advantageous position. It's not super unique. Plenty of people can do it. Those guys we were talking about, they made a game off of YouTube. They didn't even use an engine. Now, can they monetize that? Probably not. But the fact that their brain thinks that way is pretty fantastic.
I was going to leave you with the last thought because I know you did leave people with a lasting thought, like the zebra. Pretty sure people remember that fondly. But if there was anything you wanted to leave for the viewers, any last words of encouragement?
Well, I would just say, no matter what you do, commit to it. It may be Joysticks, it may be Jams, but just commit to it and know that it's fine to be different. Matter of fact, it actually puts you in a much better position if you're different than everybody else. Embrace your stripes. God made you a zebra on purpose. Be that zebra and embrace it. And like I said, it don't matter what you do. You could be a cook, be the best cook you could possibly be. You're going to do landscaping, make people's house look crazy good. Whatever you do, just commit to it and do it.